Welcome to the Big Biz Show. Taking care of business. You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
Hey, we found it.
And a big old howdy to you, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening. Welcome to the Big Biz Show inside the Loft 100 studios, otherwise known as None Your Business today. Sully and Greg are off doing some important things. So Mary Bird Godwin,
top secret things.
Myself, we are holding down the fort. Yes, this is really special, though, a special show. Even though Sully's not here, 8/9 of Sullivan in the house. On the stage today.
We love you guys.
Now, apparently he might be back for a band rehearsal with Sullivan.
Maybe.
But that's not my problem.
Best band in the biz.
We've got him for the whole show, which is a treat for us. Normally we have the Day Trader Trio. Certainly is awesome as well. But today, as I said, we've got Sullivan here in studio with us. And we got a great show coming your way. Joining us right now, though, is our market analyst, Mr. Howie Font. Howie, apparently he and Sully now have the ability to predict the future when it comes to things like tariffs in our great country. Howie, how you doing, my friend?
Let's pause things. I just need to say something very important. Can we congratulate Mary on a happy birthday month? Can we just give a round of applause?
Yes, Howie.
That's great, Howie. Thank you. Oh, look at that.
Oh my God.
That's so awesome.
I love it.
How do I look?
To you.
Oh, I got a song and everything.
Happy birthday,
you guys are the best.
Mary. Happy
Where's the
birthday to you.
Oh, on my head.
Nice. Howie, you know what?
Thank you, Howie.
This is a dangerous precedent you're setting. Because now this is all we're going to hear about throughout the show today, probably tomorrow, until the end of...
How many more days? 6 more days.
It's her birthday.
I think me and Sullivan, 8/9 at least, and viewers like you everywhere wanted to be in for that.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, it's
into April in New York. You're going to be joining me, actually, right? To
very, very
celebrate
excited.
in New York.
Are you guys going to try to hook up?
I don't know, possibly.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'm coming. I'm inviting myself.
Love it. Love it. Howie, what's going on with the tariffs? And are they having the sought-after effect from President Trump that he wanted to have?
Yeah, I'm so glad actually that we're doing a Nunya today because I don't want to give Sully any public credit, or at least credit to his face. But he and I do have conversations off the show, and we were having this kind of back and forth about tariffs and saying, this is. I've said it on the show, it brings a lot of uncertainty to markets. The markets are coming down because of that. We've lost all the gains from the election. Well, the market rallied big, actually. It came back up from its bottoms, and we're basically at where we started the year, which is pretty good. And that's because, as Sully predicted, the Trump administration's kind of in control of the messaging, and the market goes up when they want it to and down when they want it to, and they know what they can endure and what they can't. So Sully's prediction was that Trump comes out with an announcement, scales back tariffs, market rallies, he looks like a hero. That kind of exactly played out on Sunday night and Monday morning when they announced that instead of doing full sectors, so saying like all manufacturing or all agriculture, it's going to have an X level tariff. They're going to be much more prescriptive about it. So we haven't seen that, the level of that, but it's kind of a magnitude down from what we thought it was going to be, if that makes sense.
Was that the strategy all along, do you think?
A 3D chess, Mary, 3D chess. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What else could it be? What else could it be? Would you, Mary, you're not implying that there was a negative reaction in the public markets and the administration changed their policy?
Howie, I got 5 words for you. The art of the deal. That's all it is. All right, listen, keep it here. Howie's going to be back with us on the other side. If you get an email in the next couple days saying, hey, we're thinking of bombing this country, just erase it. Just erase it. Don't go into it.
Email or a chat.
Yeah. We'll talk about that with Howie Font as the Big Biz Show rolls on. Keep it right here. members and 6 guys who are just kind of like, eh. That is 8/9 of the world famous Sullivan Band in studio with us today as the Big Biz Show rolls on. Mary Burt Godwin, Mike Costa, holding the fort down. Sully and Greg off doing other things. But we're certainly glad that you guys are here and along for the ride. We got a great show coming your way today. Howie Font, our market analyst, is with us, and he was. Howie, you can toot your own horn. You and Sully were talking about the fact that Trump knew what he was doing as far as the tariffs, language, and then he kind of cooled things, and the market responded, as you mentioned in our first segment, kind of back to where we were at the first of the year. Does this, before we talk about emails people aren't supposed to get when it comes to government secrets, is this something that other countries like Canada, Mexico, China, though, are they still going to feel the stings of tariffs as the Trump administration tries to get them to kind of play ball as far as security is concerned?
Look, I think all these tariffs are triggered by each other. So, when one set goes in, the next set will go in. So nothing has actually happened yet. It's just all the uncertainty that we're feeling now. We haven't actually gotten the, inflation from an actual tariff hitting or anything like that.
Right.
But I do think that, our de-escalation, which is effectively what it was, will cause a greater de-escalation. I haven't seen any big negotiation, fruits of negotiation from anything so far. Mm-hmm. It's been a lot of noise, not a lot of signal. But that doesn't mean something's not going to happen at the very end. So we kind of have to wait for the whole saga to play out to evaluate it, I think is the fairest thing to say. I guess you let the new president try, but so far it has not been pretty, at least outwardly. I think
as long as Canada doesn't stop poutine shipments down to the United States, I'm good. I mean, come on.
Well, Greg was worried about the shipments of tequila from Mexico.
Tequila from Mexico, poutine from Canada, maybe maple syrup. Howie,
we're going to have bootleggers like Prohibition.
Yeah.
I mean,
Howie, a little toe stub with the Trump administration. Last couple of days, I guess somebody was part of an email chain.
No, it was a text chain, or it was a signal, which is
it was a signal chat. And thank you guys for talking about this, because I just think I'm having so much fun. It is the silliest story ever. So a small group, I guess not really important people, the National Security Advisor, the Vice President, the Director of National Intelligence.
Just civilians in the government.
Yeah, the Secretary of Defense, a few others. So basically all of Trump's security team and senior policy advisors were put into a Signal chat, which is not uncommon. So the Signal, for those who don't know, encrypted app, everyone deletes it. You can't get the text messages again. I think it's actually fairly common that some of these non-classified discussions have happened on Signal, just kind of going back and forth policy-wise. So that's not uncommon. The fun thing is, have you ever sent someone, a picture and you meant to send it to someone else? Like, haha,
1,000%.
Imagine you're trying to, reopen the Strait of Hormuz with some light aerial bombardments, and you accidentally add the editor of The Atlantic to your group chat.
I'm a complete meathead when it comes to the technology. So does the editor of The Atlantic get it? And is it there, like, this message will detonate in 5 seconds? Or does he get it?
It could be like that, but it wasn't. It was just a regular group chat like in your iPhone, except on the Signal app.
And he could screenshot it or do whatever he needed to do to keep it so that if somebody did delete it, he has the proof of it, right?
We've seen some of those screenshots.
Yeah.
He didn't release everything because some of the information he didn't know, but was potentially classified, and he wouldn't want to release anything. That crazy. So credit to him there. But it is fairly hilarious that just because he has the same initials as another member or as someone inside the White House, that he was accidentally added to. Really. The Trump administration has to take their licks. The president is defending everyone today. The bombing's already happened, but it is fairly careless and no harm done this time, but
I was
really
going to say it's funny, not funny, because we can laugh at it, but it's actually a pretty potentially severe situation that just shows potential ineptitude, I think.
It's not potential.
A big oops,
Wait, Howie, it's not potential ineptitude. It is ineptitude.
Right.
Listen,
you said it, not me.
No, but hey, no, listen. If you're gonna go after the opposition for looking like meerkats trying to have relations with a football, then you've got to take the licks when you do it as well, as far as your administration is concerned. And
and then they were trying to blame.
10 years ago, we were talking about emails of a different
servers being bleached and stuff like that.
Right. So yeah, you do have to take them as they come. I think this is really entertaining because it's so silly, it's so over the top. It's something we all do, except they are working at the highest level of classified information and military operations.
Well, and then I heard them trying to blame the owner of the Atlantic like it was his fault. And he was just the person that got added. He didn't do anything about it. So, I hope there is some owning of the mistake.
And here's the thing: the owner of the Atlantic does not have the greatest journalistic, sort of.
Depending on who you ask,
totally hit or miss. But you have to give credit. One, he's a reporter, and two, he held back the classified stuff. So.
Right, and even though if you don't have the greatest reputation out there, the fact that he held it back, I have to give him credit for that. Was there any fallout as far as the markets are concerned once this story started to spread?
No, this is a little bit unrelated. Everything was made public. The result of everything happened. The editor of the Atlantic was only sure that this was an actual true thing that happened. When he saw that the bombing happened. So everything was public by the time this story was released. So there wasn't an impact there so much. But the actual relief that comes by having Suez not being blocked is big. Another thing I will say that impacts the markets is you got to see, when you actually look at the private messages, the vice president advocating, kind of harsher European foreign policy, something that he kind of said before the campaign and doesn't talk about now because he wants to match the administration. But he's internally still advocating that, we're doing too much to help the Europeans. They need to clean up their own side of the ocean.
Sure.
And so they were having that debate internally. That is kind of the interesting thing that might have policy/market implications.
Howie Font is our Big Biz Show market analyst. He is with us every edition of the Big Biz Show. So are we talking like bomb in Italy or just financial repercussions? What are we talking here, Hal?
You remember Reagan did a radio address, and just as a joke to check the mic, he goes, I think he's announced that we're bombing Russia.
That's right.
Bombing's beginning in 10 minutes, and that scared everybody.
Oops.
No, the funniest thing, the only thing I've seen for this one is that there's competition between Disney and Lockheed Martin for who's going to produce the most bombs this quarter.
Oh, whoa. That took me a second to get that one. Dang.
I have friends.
That's all I got.
That's a good one.
That's pretty. Try the clams, ladies and gentlemen.
There's been a few out of Disney.
I can't do 15 drop jokes in a row.
Can we collectively come up with some more drop
for him
analogies that are more current with the times? I mean, I can't, but I think you guys should.
Well, no, he talks about the Snow White remake has bombed historically. Like for Disney's going.
Is it out now?
Yeah, I think it's out. Yeah,
I don't even know.
It's still running. It still has the chance to make some money now. To be fair, and I think the Marvels lost. I think $500 million. Sorry to be all over the place. I just really wanted to make the bomb joke.
No. Well, this is a financial show, and obviously that Snow White remake is going to have financial repercussions for the likes of everybody.
They spent about $250 million making it. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. And
no.
I think it made less than 50 in the opening weekend. So bombs happen. This was in production hell for a long time. I think everyone knew what they thought about
these live action remakes have not been very good
because Hollywood has run out of ideas. I mean, I'm waiting right now for the Harry Potter reboot. Isn't it time for them to remake those again? Because Hollywood's running out of ideas.
Are you joking?
No.
HBO is doing a 10 or 7 season remake. They're casting announcements are coming out.
I need a knife right across my wrist. Howie, always appreciate it, buddy. Talk to you next week.
Thanks so much.
That's our market analyst, Howie Font.
I think
they have
John
zero ideas
Lithgow
left.
is going to be one of the characters in it. I just heard an interview with him.
All right, keep it here. Much more riveting content like that.
Birthday celebration continues.
As the Big Biz Show rolls on. Big Biz Show rolls on live from the Loft 100 studios. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, we always appreciate you being along for this wacky ride. Those incredible sounds you hear in the background, that is the band, world famous band Sullivan. As we've said today, 8/9 of the band are here. They're just missing the main piece, Sullivan. Sully will be back with us very shortly. Mary Bert Godwin, Mike Costa with you. Glad you guys could be with us today for another edition of the Big Biz Show. I am so fired up.
Oh, man.
To speak with our next guest.
Same. Cannot wait.
Are you a horrible sleeper?
Actually, I'm a pretty good sleeper.
Okay.
However, we've been talking a little bit about my birthday month, which also comes with like a certain time of life, which also is disrupting my sleep. That's all I'm going to say.
You're putting me to sleep right now as you're talking. No,
but
go ahead.
I will say that I'm noticing some changes in my deep sleep. I'm waking up more frequently, so I'm very excited to talk to this next guest.
Well, we have a VIP in studio with us today. Our buddy from Westview Insurance Services, Mr. David D'Arcangelo is here.
Yes, he is.
And he came in studio just because he knew that we were going to have our next guest with us on the air. He consults with this company. Joining us right now is the CEO of NuCalm, Mr. Jim Poole. The website to go to is NuCalm, NuCalm.com.
The Wonder Non-Drug.
The Wonder Non-Drug. And Jim, if you can ensure me that I wake up looking like that woman on the screen, 20, 25 years old, I am hooked. Welcome to the Big Biz Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Jim, if you can, give us a 30,000-foot view about what NuCalm is, and then maybe the genesis of why we're talking to you today about NuCalm.
NuCalm is a revolution in how humans change their mental state and how we choose to live. So if we went back to the dawn of humankind, you'll be wholly unimpressed with our inability to regulate our own state of mind. Today, in 2025, we use caffeine, alcohol, recreational drugs, anti-anxiety pills, antidepressants, sleeping pills, exercise, intimacy. All it does is change our state by modulating the frequency or speed of our brainwave. Well, we've changed all that. We took 35 years of patented, clinically proven neuroscience, really complicated, cool brain science, and we put it into a mobile app to help you sleep on demand, focus on demand, energize when you want to, and recover every day.
Wow.
Go ahead.
So how does it work? I mean, is it like a meditation app or talk me through how it works? Because I am very, very interested in this.
There are two ways to trick your brainwave. One is called visual stimulation, made famous by Sigmund Freud. You follow a pocket watch, you're following a stimulation to elicit a response. The second way is to use your ears to carry a signal to your brain. And if the signal's good and complicated and the brain can't figure out the pattern, the brain synchronizes to that signal. So we can, like an old school thermostat, we can dial up or dial down, change the speed of your brainwave frequency by delivering precise signals to your brain underneath music. So you and me and everybody who listens to NuCalm, we hear beautifully composed music.
Oh, wow.
What you can't hear is 1 gigabyte of math and physics directing your brain either down into a recovery sleep state or up into a high performance energized state.
So you kind of tell it what's affecting you, and then that's going to that will dictate what sort of music and sounds you get sent to listen to.
That's a great question. So on the app, it's color coded. The names are pretty utilitarian. You can imagine what deep sleep is for, or focus, or power nap. So what's interesting is that we think we're unique. We think our problems are our own. We think our challenges are our own. But the human brain has the same pieces. We're made from the same parts. And the human brainwave function is the same frequency range for all humans. So the cool aspect of that, and why it makes it easy for us, is we don't need any feedback from you. There's no biofeedback. We're directing you to an outcome that we know is correlated to the desire that you want. So if you want to recover and heal, we take your brainwave to 4 hertz, which is just above deep sleep. If you want to sleep and it's bedtime, we take your brainwave to 0.5 hertz, which is sleep. If you want to focus, we take you to 18.4 hertz, which is the learning zone. So it's you direct it. You simply say, hey, I want to feel like this now. It takes us a few minutes to take your brain to that outcome. And voila. Wow. You can do whatever you want without drugs or side effects.
Jim Poole is the CEO of NuCalm and their website, and I encourage you, go to NuCalm.com, NuCalm.com. Changing the way, people are able to get that restorative sleep that so many of us absolutely miss out on, unfortunately, night in and night out.
I have a couple questions. One is, I hear these different things like pink noise, white noise, brown noise, all these different types of noises that I've found out about, because I've only heard of white noise. But anyway, are those kinds of related to this, or is it something totally different?
Those are marketing gimmicks.
That's what I thought.
Your brain is too smart. So it simply serves as a distraction. And distraction can be valuable because your brain is constantly looking for familiarity and security. Your central nervous system has one defined goal: self-preservation. I need to stay alive. So every night, if you listen to the same type of music, over time, your brain gets to relax in the comfort of your home, but it's not doing anything physiologically to you. So white noise, brown noise, pink noise, green noise, it's just marketing. Your brain is so freaking smart, and it is always looking for patterns. And if the pattern isn't complicated, your brain will figure out that pattern and nothing really happens. So this is completely different in the fact that it's science delivering a physiological outcome. We're eliciting a state change in your mind and in your body by regulating the frequency of your brainwave.
Wow. Go ahead.
No, Jim, I love the fact that it's not a pill, it's not a drink, it's not some crazy cap that you got to put on your head. It's literally just some headphones.
It's an app, yeah.
And your app. How did you, and I'm going to use the word stumble, but it's more than a stumble. How did you come up with this, or what was the light that went on in your brain that said, hey, I think I can help people with NuCalm?
So the neuroscientist, quantum physicist, naturopath, a brilliant genius amongst geniuses, in 1990, began an invention and discovery path because he was determined to figure out a way. How can I help complex trauma and addiction? How can I help that profile of highly panicked mental state resolve their problems without drugs? That's the whole genesis of this.
Yes.
It took this gentleman 19 years to figure this out. And if you met him, you'd be like, this dude is freaking smart. That's how complicated the brain is. So I got involved because this brilliant gentleman with a very nice Southern Texas drawl said, Jim, I invented a technology that quickly and safely relaxes the mind and body within minutes with no side effects. And I literally had never heard that statement before. I was like, it sounded to me like marijuana.
Yeah.
But marijuana has side effects. Sure. It does.
Yeah.
Your eyes gloss over, you get the munchies, you lose sense of time, your mouth gets dry. This isn't any of that. So as we started to explore this and see what it could do, we started as a $6,000 FDA Class 3 medical device in surgical procedures, putting people in a state of relaxation and deep cellular restoration during surgery. We've done 2,600,000 surgical procedures, replacing general anesthesia with people listening to our physics, wearing an eye mask.
Jim, I tell you what, you are a whole big biz show.
Yeah.
Would you please, the next time you're in Southern California, come in studio and spend the time with us? I think there's so many more people that need to hear your message and learn more about NuCalm. NuCalm.com, Jim Poole, CEO of NuCalm. Thank you so much, Mary. I cannot wait to get home and literally download the app. Loft 100 Studios, The Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer@sullyantgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
I like it.
Hey, is that a rescue plane?
Big B Show rolls on live from the Loft 100 Studios. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, appreciate you being along for the ride. All those beautiful faces you saw up on stage, of course, that is Sullivan. 8/9 of Sullivan. Sully not with us today, but still. Pleasure to have them in studio with us. Of course, Marybert Godwin with me here for another edition of Nunya as a Nunya business. When the three of us are holding down the fort.
The how many?
8/9 of the Sullivan Band.
Oh, I thought you said the three of us. I said there's only two.
No.
Here.
No.
Okay.
Is the before we get to our friend Mitchell, Dr. Mitchell Steiner, is the birthday officially done over?
Well, it is still March, so it's kind of my birthday month still.
Okay, anyhow, joining us right now is and we love talking with this guy. He is the chairman, CEO, president, and founder of Veru Incorporated. Their ticker symbol is VERU. And Dr. Mitchell Steiner back with us here on the Big Biz Show. Dr. Steiner, always great to see your face. Always great to talk with you, sir. How are you this morning?
Doing great. Thanks for having me again.
Reading up as we've got to know you, we've got to know Veru, and kind of being clued in as to how many people are, for lack of a better term, fighting the battle of the bulge here in the United States. I'm not sure what the numbers are worldwide, but 1 in 8 are taking some sort of weight loss drug to combat that.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and it's a big issue because the whole world's going to change from how we eat snacks without craving to getting better with the cardiovascular side effects. And the best thing about these drugs is they actually work. They actually provide benefit for patients, particularly if you look at all the health-related issues with obesity. But it comes with a price. And the price is they have GI toxicity, meaning they have nausea, vomiting, they feel sick all the time.
Right.
But more importantly, the GLP-1s, which is what they're called scientifically, these weight loss medicines, what they do is they non-selectively cause the loss of weight. Non-selective meaning that you lose fat and you lose muscle. Everybody wants to lose fat, but to lose muscle is not good, and that rate's about 60-40. So 40% will be lean mass and 60% will be fat. Wouldn't it be nice if you had something that can do 90% or 99% fat and leave the muscle alone? And that's kind of where Veru comes in with our drug enobosarm. And so the first big problem people have is they want to lose weight. And lose weight meaning lose fat, not lose muscle. And we did a phase 2B, reported the results back in January that showed the net of it is that people lose same amount of weight on that GLP-1 with the enobosarm in combination, but the weight that they lose is about 99% fat. And so we hold on to the muscle.
Dr. Steiner, for a second, when I go in for my yearly physical and they do my body fat index thing, it comes back and it just says canned ham. I mean, that's how out of shape I am. Are we in the United States? Is there 1 in 8 people using this because food is so unhealthy? Fast food and junk food are always right there at your fingertips?
Well, of course, we have a food epidemic, but the problem is obesity is a real disease. And that's part of what we have to understand. Why are some people not overweight and other people are? And unfortunately, it's a spiral. Once you start getting some weight on you, you start putting more weight, and you become resistant to the signals that your brain tells you not to eat. So it's a true disease, and they need help. And that's where these GLP-1s come in. So it's good at 1 in 8. Hopefully we'll get the obesity problem under control, and people will feel healthier, live better lives. But it's not going to be just with the GLP-1s. It has to be GLP-1s and other things to make the journey more tolerable.
Dr. Mitchell Steiner is the chairman, CEO, president, founder of Veru Incorporated, their ticker symbol VERU.
Dr. Steiner, now talk to me. I was reading about the phase 2B that you just mentioned, and you said you went to an extension study with those same candidates. What are you seeing happen with them, and then what's the next step with these candidates?
Well, a shocking number is that people should stay on these GLP-1s, but about 80% don't after about a year to a year and a half. So
why is that?
Well, because of side effects, access to potentially expensive medicines, they feel weak, but the net of it, the insurance data clearly shows that about half to about 80% will not continue. And so we're running a study called the extension study, because the next big question is, once you get your weight down to a place that you want to stay, and you stop with GLP-1, what happens is that you go into this overeating cycle, and you get back to the muscle that you lost. It doesn't come back the way it did before, but instead the weight that comes back, almost like before, is all fat. So you get this fat regain. And people get very frustrated because they lost the weight. They want to come off the medicine for whatever reason. And then they find out they get the weight back, but they're worse off because it's all fat. So the extension study is trying to show the reason why people get that fat regain is because they deplete muscle. Muscle goes away. Your body goes into a self-preservation mode, saying, I have to stay alive, and sends a signal to the brain to eat. Now you get rid of the GLP-1 that's telling the brain not to eat, and you have the double whammy. You have your muscle saying eat, and you have the drug that told you not to eat gone away. And so you overeat, and you get back fat and not muscle, and that's where people are getting frustrated. We believe that enobosarm has the ability, by leaving muscle alone, gets rid of one of those eat signals. And if you get rid of that eat signal, then the hope, when we get our data in the second quarter this year, is that we show that we can blunt that regain of fat that happens when you stop a GLP-1. So you have an off-ramp, as they call it, as opposed to just crashing and getting the weight all back in fat. So that data, as I said, in 168 patients that was enrolled in the study, that data is expected in the second quarter, and the goal is to show that we can blunt that fat regain.
Now, doctor, are patients encouraged to also do a certain workout routine to help combat the loss of muscle and fat and all of this stuff, and so they don't regain it back obviously we are all told to work out daily and do these things, but is there a certain prescription that you're seeing works in conjunction?
The prescription. If you can, and the problem is nobody sticks to it, but if you find the odd person that sticks to it, meaning they eat protein and they do resistant exercise, they get a soft landing. So what that's telling you is that muscle must be important for that soft landing or that ramp, off ramp. Meaning that if you build muscle, bring muscle back on after you stop a GLP-1, that will stop the fat regain. But the problem is, the same reason why people are taking obesity drugs is that it's very, very hard to keep up that kind of routine. And so for the majority of patients that just can't do it, to have a drug like enobosarm that in some ways acts like exercise in a bottle, if you want to call it that, exercise pill, it allows them to build back their muscle. And as long as they're eating protein, and change their body composition to be maintain the weight, and if they gain a little weight, it's muscle weight and not fat. Which, remember, fat's the enemy.
Yeah, love that.
The company is Veru Incorporated. He is Dr. Mitchell Steiner, Chairman, CEO, President, and founder. Of course, their ticker symbol is Veru, V-E-R-U. Dr. Steiner, always appreciate the visit. I love the fact that he's helping people with this, but it always makes me feel so bad about myself.
Same.
All right, much more to come with the Big Biz Show. Keep it right here. That is Sullivan, missing only Sullivan as the Big Biz Show rolls on. Live from the Loft 100 studios. Wherever watching or listening, thanks for being along for the ride. Costa and Marybert Godwin with you today. Another special edition of Nunya. Nunya Business is what we call the Big Biz when Sully and Greg are not with us. And the birthday celebration.
The birthday month continues. Well,
So
because I was here's the deal, is I was actually at a dance competition over the weekend with my daughters.
Oh, your daughters, okay.
Yes, I would have won, but and so it was fun, but I didn't, it wasn't all about me. So
it was boring?
No, so we're going on a little vacation, and we're going to New York, and we're going to some theater shows. So that's going to be my the
culmination.
A whole full week of birthday celebrating in New York, yeah.
All right, very fun. When are you going? Like next week or something?
Yeah.
Okay, good for you.
So I'll be gone.
Yeah. I know I speak on behalf of everybody with Loft 100 Studios when I say we are so glad it's coming to an end. Oh my God. You know what's not coming to an end is the price of gold. Look at that segue.
Good work. Good work.
Yeah, thank you very much. I get paid the big bucks for that.
We need it even more right now, I think.
We do. Joining us is Mr. Alan Hibbard, precious metals and alternative money specialist. His company is Gold Silver. Website goldsilver.com. Alan, welcome to the Big Biz Show. We certainly appreciate you jumping on and talking some gold with us. How are you, sir?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, before we talk about prices of gold and where to go and get gold and stuff like that, is it finite as far as the supply that man knows of in the world, or do we really have a true gauge of how much gold there is if we haven't really been able to explore every single square inch of the earth to find it?
Yeah, it's a great question. And actually, your question sort of hints at why gold is even a store of value in the first place. So I would argue that the supply of gold is essentially infinite, but for practical purposes, it's capped by our ability to go out and get new gold. So the reason that gold is a store of value is because some of it is accessible to us, and that's relatively easy to get.
Sure.
And some other gold in the future is going to be a lot harder to get. We're going to have to spend much more energy to get it. And so as a result, anyone who has kept gold until that time is going to be able to sell it at that new higher price, representing a higher cost of getting new units. So the supply of gold is essentially limited, and that's what makes it a store of value.
Hey, Alan, I want to ask, in this climate of, the market is unsure, what's going on with, all the things are kind of uncertain in question. So, there's cryptocurrency out there. All the things are happening. Inflation. Now, how does that affect gold and silver? Does it bode well for your industry?
Yes, absolutely. It bodes well. And I think that's why gold and silver have both had fantastic years recently, outperforming the S&P, for example. And so, whenever you have a period of uncertainty, people start to cling to something they can control, something they can get their hands on, something they know isn't going to disappoint them down the road. And if you look at so much of what's happening in the world, we sort of have a crisis of leadership really everywhere. And that accounts for leaders of countries, leaders of other institutions who have, broadly speaking, either been negligent, to put it nicely, or outright corrupt, right, in the worst of cases. And that's across the globe. So, of course, there are standout exceptions, but broadly speaking, we have a failure of leadership. And when that happens, people turn to something that doesn't have a leader. So gold doesn't have a leader. There's no one in charge of all the gold. And same with silver, for example, and same with Bitcoin. So if you're unhappy with your leadership, if there's uncertainty about how they're going to behave, what kind of rules they're going to enact, whether or not they're going to enforce those rules, and if they're going to be good or bad for you and your family, you can really just take a lot of uncertainty out of the equation by going to something that doesn't have a leader, that can't be corrupted. So that's gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So that's really good for our industry.
Alan Hibbard, precious metals alternative money specialist. His company, Gold Silver. Their website is goldsilver.com. Alan, what's the craziness going over in London? What are they experiencing with gold?
Yeah, they're getting rid of it, basically. So in London, they're selling a lot of their gold. They're selling a lot of the gold off the LBMA, moving that to Switzerland, refining it for bars that are acceptable in the United States, and shipping them to New York. And the reason for that is that there's one or more large investors in the United States, and we could speculate who that might be. It might even be the federal government, who are going to take physical delivery of gold sometime in the very near future. So the gold stockpiles on the COMEX have gone from roughly 10 million ounces to 40 million ounces. It's gone up by a factor of 4 in just a few months. This is basically unprecedented. It happened during COVID, but that was the first time. So now it's happening again. So that means somebody is taking a lot of gold in physical delivery, and it's coming from London. So we don't know who that is. It could be the U.S. government preparing for an audit of Fort Knox. We could speculate about that. But either way, it means the price of gold is moving up, and that's probably going to continue for the foreseeable future.
So that segues into my next question, which is about silver. I was just mentioning my kids' dance competitions. Silver is below gold in the medal or the awards category, the Olympics everywhere, and dance categories too. So, but right now, silver is looking like an attractive buy. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. So while gold is at its all-time high, over $3,000 an ounce, silver is still below its all-time high. So you could think of it as being on sale. It's almost like a 33% discount. So if you like the product, it's better to buy it on sale, and that's definitely silver right now. And historically, silver outperforms gold during these bull runs. So it does ultimately rise a lot more in price. However, you pay the price of volatility. So if you're not happy seeing the ups and downs day to day in your portfolio, maybe silver isn't a good fit for you. Also, you tend to have to wait longer to experience those gains, but they are bigger over time. So I think gold and silver are both attractive right now. I have both in my portfolio, and they're both good picks for most people.
Alan, if I go to goldsilver.com, can I physically buy bullion from you?
Or a big brick.
Or a big brick, or a nose ring or something like that?
You can, yes, if you go to goldsilver.com, you can buy coins and bars of gold and silver. They're all investment grade. So you're not going to get scammed. You're not going to buy anything that looks like it's, investment grade gold, but then it's actually only a tiny fraction of gold. No, we don't do that on our website at all. There's no collectibles. You don't have to worry about numismatic value. It's all investment grade stuff. And you can even get stuff for your IRA if you do it before April 15th.
Will you do me a favor? Will you promise to come back on our show? Yeah. We do not have an official Big Biz Show gold person. And what you were just able to explain to me, someone who's got nothing but cement between his ears, not gold, I'm like, all right, I know exactly what he's talking about. Yeah. Will you come back on with us, please?
I would love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alan Hibbard, precious metals and alternative money specialist, goldsilver.com is his website. This show has been gold because we have Sullivan in studio. We have everybody who makes the show possible behind the scenes. For Mary Bert Godwin, I'm Mike Costa. Thanks for tuning in to the Big Biz Show. We'll see you again next time.